What up, and welcome to my Evereth Viceroy of Plunder commander deck. Now this deck is kind of just using her as a commander, but originally this deck was called Rakdos Scam. Because what's more fun than taking a super broken deck in a 1v1 format and trying to bring it to modern, or to commander. So the deck is essentially just I want to play Rakdos Scam, and I want a commander that works well with Rakdos Scam. And typically sacking your things and not actually sacking them is how you want to play Rakdos Scam. So there's Evereth for that. Evereth is a 3 mana 2/2 flyer. You can sacrifice a creature and artifacts, put a 1/1 counter on her. If the sacrifice permanent was a treasure specifically, she gains lifelink until end of turn. Unfortunately it's sorcery speed, so it's not turbo broken, but still really strong. And then whenever she dies, you can pay 1 in a black or a red, and she deals damage equal to her power to each opponent. So build her up, somebody kills her, or you kill her yourself with, I don't know, one of the other many effects in the deck, and then you hit everybody and they all die. It's great. So let's go on to the we play in standard category, which is essentially the Rakdos Scam of the deck, the real meat and bones. So you're going to see some cards here, a lot. I think I'm playing every single card that is scammy in the way that when a creature dies it comes back. So Abnormal Endurance is one of them. Dothy Voidwalker in the deck. This is a great card in actually just every format. It's really good in Commander too, but I think I mainly looked at a few Rakdos Scam deck lists before it was banned, and I just kind of put in all the very common cards I saw. Demonic Gifts, another scam. Fatal Mirror Breaker, this card is an eternal format card. It makes Geeky Cheeky, that's all you really need to know. Is it really that great? It's 3 mana, make it 2/2 that attacks for treasure, so that's good. Fake Your Own Death, that's a scam effect, so is Feign Death. Fury, one of the more broken elementals that got banned in a lot of formats. So obviously the whole thing is you want to evoke it out, and then on the trigger, when it enters, you give it a scam effect so it dies and then it comes back, gets the effect again. Really strong. Yeah, this one when it enters deals 4 damage, divide it as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers, so it's a little bit of removal. Grief is Hand Hate. It's for a specific opponent, so it's not that good in Commander, but it is very core to the deck, so I threw it in. Croxa was also in a lot of decks. This one is really nice. When it enters, sacrifice unless it escaped. Whenever it enters or attacks, each opponent discards a card, then each opponent who didn't discard a card loses, or didn't discard a non-land card loses 3 life. Obviously it has the escape, but you can also just scam this on its enters trigger, so you can get multiple things of each opponent discarding cards. It's pretty good. This is a scam effect. This is a scam effect. This is Ragavan. He's in here. The funny monkey's in the deck. It's a very good card in Modern. Reanimate's in the deck. It's not really a scam effect, but it gets played in a lot of decks, and it's just really broken. Especially the losing life doesn't matter, because you can give your commander a lifelink. Return to Action is a scam effect. So is Supernatural Stamina, and so is Undying Malice. So yeah. Unfortunately, only 16 of the cards are really like the core deck that was being played, which makes me a little sad, but whatever. On to what she is mainly played for, Treasure. Woohoo. So we got the Treasure guy, the guy that goes in every artifact deck, period. Whenever you make a clue, fruit, or treasure, you make 1 of each. So just all your treasures become clue food treasures. Atsushi is in here because mainly when he dies, you can make 3 treasure tokens, so you can sack him, make 3 treasures, sack the 3 treasures, and get +4/+4 on your commander. Beamtown Beatstick makes your guy a little bigger, has menace, so it's a little harder to block, especially with the flying that it already has. And then whenever it deals damage, you make a treasure token, or battles. Well, they should have just said battles, whatever. Big Score makes 2 treasures, as well as is technically a cycle. It's net neutral, you play this and you lose a card to draw 2. Brass's Bounty, this is just going to make a lot of treasures later on in the game. Really good card. Captain Lannery Storm, she's just a 3 mana that hits for treasures. You can also sack it, or whenever you sack a treasure, she gets a little bigger, which is nice, but I think you mainly just play her to make a treasure. Ah, I clicked off. Crime Novelist, whenever you sacrifice an artifact, those are treasures by the way, put a 1/1 counter on it, and you make a red. So your treasures are almost making 2 mana. Kind of wild. And he gets big. Really good card. Descent to Avernus, my favorite card in probably the game in Commander, because it just speeds everything up. At the beginning of your upkeep, you put 2 counters on it, then each player makes X counter or X treasure tokens and lose X life, where X is the amount of counters. So on your first upkeep after you play this card, everybody makes 2 treasures, lose 2 life, then 4, then 6, and 8. I love this card. It's cool. It just accelerates games, so you're not dealing with like 3-hour games. Diamond Pickaxe, similar to Beattown Beat Stick. I got there. When it attacks, you make a treasure. Also gets +1/+1, which is nice. Unfortunately, doesn't give menace, but who cares? Generous Plunderer is a nice card because at the beginning of your upkeep, you make a treasure and you can give a tap treasure to an opponent, so they're not too mad at you when you hit them in the air for 7, maybe. Also, whenever it attacks, it deals damage to a defending player equal to the number of artifacts they control. So, yeah, you give someone treasure, you just hurt them. That's all the deck does. Goldvein Pick, when it attacks, you give a player a treasure, same as the Diamond Pickaxe. Greedy Freebooter, when it dies, you scry 1 and make a treasure. So there are a bunch of cards with similar effects in this, where you're getting treasures after they're dying, so you're getting almost double triggers from Evereth, or you can do it twice as much. It also does a little scry 1. It's an early game card. It's good to have in the deck. Impulsive Pilfer is the exact same thing. When it dies, make a treasure token. It also has Encore, which is cool, but you're mainly doing it for the 2 stacks. Mahadi, at the beginning of your end step, create a treasure token for each creature that died this turn. If you sack a lot of your guys over your turn, or if something happens and you board wipe and then play Mahadi, you can just get a lot of treasures. It's a good card. Pirate's Pillage is, I believe, similar to Big Score. You discard a card, you draw 2, you make 2 treasures. Yeah. Professional Facebreaker, whenever 1 or more of your creatures deal combat damage to a player, you make a treasure token, and you can sacrifice treasure to exile top card, and you can play that card this turn. So it's a little bit of draw for treasure sacrificing. But it also just makes treasures, which is really nice. Also has menace, so it could be hard to block. Ruthless Technomancer, when it enters, you may sacrifice another creature you control. If you do, create a number of treasure tokens equal that creature's power. That can be really good for Evereth. You can, let's say she's only been killed once, and so she has commander tax of 5 right now, or a total cost of 5. You could sack her if she's like above 7, pay 2, deal however much to everybody, make 7 treasures with the 7 treasures, cast her again. Pretty cool card. You can also pay 3, sacrifice X artifacts, or return to a creature card with power X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, where X can't be 0, which is nice, but mainly the first effect is what it's there for. Seize the Spoils, discard a card, draw 2, create a treasure. It's 3 instead of 4. Reaver Cleaver, when the creature deals damage that it's equipped to, you make that many treasures. So this can get out of hand very, very quickly. Where it's like, I hit for 4, I make 4 treasure tokens. Next turn I can hit for 8, make 8 treasure tokens, etc. Unexpected Windfall is Big Score, but named differently. And then Zorn doubles all your treasures, which is very good. I'll go to the removal cards. I'll go to the draw cards. So this deck needs draw because you're playing rakdos, and you go through cards very quickly. Black Market Connections is a good one. I've said it before, you don't care about losing life in this deck because you just get it back with lifelink on your commander. You can make a treasure, you can draw a card, you can make blockers. It's great. Deadly Dispute, you can sacrifice a creature. There's a bunch of good sack targets in the deck. Also, you can scam effect to bring them back either way. And you draw 2 and make a treasure. You can also sack a treasure to make a treasure. It's good. Morbid Opportunist, things die in commander all the time. It's just, you're going to get cards out of this no matter what. Necropotence is like the big one in this, where you're really just like, if you really want to go ham on draw, you just play this. I think the card is super broken. Again, paying 1 life, who cares? The only downside is you don't get the cards until technically at the end of your turn. so you're not going to be playing most of them until your next turn, which is unfortunate, but whatever. Phyrexian Arena is good. At the beginning of your upkeep, draw a card, lose a life, who cares? Then Wild Wasteland, you skip your draw step, and then in your upkeep you exile 2. So this just means instead of drawing 1 every turn, you draw 2. Unfortunately, you have to play them on the turn or else they get exiled, but who cares? Yeah, so on to removal. Because you're playing rakdos, your choices for removal are very, very good. You could run way more removal. In fact, I probably would, but because I'm forcing in this like whole scam thing, I'm just not playing as much. You could just make this into a normal treasure deck if you wanted to, but I don't think it's as fun. A braid either kills a small thing or destroys an artifact. Is a board wipe. Does a board wipe. Eaten alive. Sacrifice a creature, which is easy to do, and then exile a creature planeswalker. Who says white's the only color with 1 mana exile target? Greet the Swarm is good removal, gets rid of enchantments as well, which is nice in these colors. Final Vengeance is the same as Eaten Alive, but you can sacrifice, I believe, treasures. Oh, an enchantment, okay. Go for the Throat is non-artifact creature removal. Mayhem Devil, I put this in removal because it's kind of removal. Whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, so tapping treasures for example, you can deal 1 to any target. So if you know you're going to sack a bunch of treasures on your turn, you could set up to deal however much you want to any target. Terminate, destroy a creature, can't be regenerated for 2 mana, that's really good. Toxic Deluge, another board wipe. And then Tragic Slip, I love this card, 1 mana, -13, because it's very easy to get Morbid. Vandal Blast is destroy all artifacts. It's a artifact board wipe, kind of. All artifacts you don't control, my apologies. Default tag, this is really just good cards that I don't really know what to tag as. So Signet is Signet. Callous Sellsword is, you mainly play it for the adventure, which is just a fling effect. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to any target, then sacrifice it. It also has a good other side where when it enters, it gets +1/+1 for each creature that died under your controller's turn, which if you're sacking a lot of small things on your turn to your commander, could be good. But yeah, mainly for a fling effect, because obviously you can fling her, and then when she dies, you pay the 2, and it's almost like a double fling. Lightning Greaves is premium protection in this format. What a good card. And this is, I guess, more to get around cards that'll exile, because anything that destroys isn't too bad if you can just scam effect. 9 Lives Familiar just gives you 9 counters on your commander, because why not? And then obviously on its last death you could scam it back with all 8 counters back on it and then do it again. This card is nuts, at least specifically in this deck and in decks that want you to sacrifice things. Soul Ring is Soul Ring. Swiftfoot Boots is being played the same reason as the Greaves are. And then Thud is a fling effect. Sacrifice a creature, deal that creature's power to any target. Same with, and Unleash Fury is double that creature's power. So this is an easy way to like quickly scam out a win, where you last second go, oh, she's actually twice as strong, you guys are all dead. For lands, run Bajuka Bog because Graveyard Hate is mandatory. Command Tower is Command Tower. Den of Bugbear. While this is a decent land, and it, unfortunately, I don't think it makes a treasure, but it kind of gets played in standard in some 1v1 formats, so I threw it in. Drakenskull Summit is just a good land. Evolving Wilds is there because I put it there. Full Boarding Ruins can enter untapped. Mines of Moria can make treasures, which is nice. Mountains are Mountains. Rogue's Passage can help your commander hit in matchups where they have a lot of flyers or can just easily block your stuff. Smoldering Marsh can come in untapped. Every dual land in this I just play if it can come in untapped. Tainted Peak, I mean, yeah, probably. Temple of Malice is a Scry 1 effect, which is nice. Terramorphic, yeah. Now, obviously, upgrades, we're going to go over the good upgrades. So, Blood Money, for example, is a good board wipe. That can be played. Destroy all creatures. For each non-token creature destroyed, you make a tap treasure, which is nice. Especially if you scam your commander and then do stuff, it can be cool. Grim Hireling It's just going to make you 2 treasures when you attack, and you can sack treasures to remove things, which is nice, similar to Mayhem Devil. Jury is kind of similar to what your commander does, except it doesn't have a sack target on it, but it's whenever you sack a permanent, she gets +1/+1, and when she dies, you fling her. Pitiless Plunderer, whenever another creature you control dies, create a treasure, so this will double up on your treasures when you're killing things, if you want to lean more into that. Prize Statue is one of those other cards. There's a handful that when it enters and when it dies, you make a treasure, so you're getting more value on playing that card for your commander. Rev, I originally threw in because I thought it was cool, and I like the look of the card because anime girls. Whenever you attack, target creature gains Death Touch, which is nice because sometimes people won't block Death Touchers. And then whenever one or more creature you control deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token, then look at that top card of that player's library and exile it face down. You can cast it for as long as it remains exiled. I really wanted to play this card, and then the more I kind of played around with it, I'm like, this card's just not good in this deck. It'd be really good in a theft deck, but yeah, not in this deck. Tyrian Soul Cleaver is bonkers. I actually just have this in the main deck, but I didn't know where to put it. Whenever an artifact or creature is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, aka all your treasures, put a 1/1 on the equipped creature. So your commander is literally just getting double counters from sacrificing anything, which is crazy. And they have vigilance, so you can block after you smack someone. This card should very, very go in the deck. I just didn't know what to take out for it. And then the Ozolith is the Ozolith. I don't know. Someone kills your commander, it gets all the counters onto it, and when it comes back out and swings, it gets all its counters again. It's great. Let's go to the actual Rex here. I was looking through earlier stab, I mean, this could be similar to making like the treasures when they die, except it's just another creature. Mirkwood Bats could be good if you want to go into Drain. I think a lot of these Rex will be if you want to just heavily lean into treasures, which is probably the better way to build the deck. But I like building decks with little fun things like Joda, but I have Gigantha. Or, yeah, this, like Evereth, but I want to play rakdos scam. You could probably run the Rakdos that also sacks things to make himself indestructible. That'd be a good card. Ophiomancer, actually not that good of a card because every upkeep making a snake doesn't matter when you can only sack things on your turn or at sorcery speed. Untimely Malfunction's a good kind of counter spell in red. Rakdos Charm is nice. It can exile a graveyard, destroy an artifact. Infernal Vessel, when it dies it comes back as something else, so it's double. Yeah, there's a lot of really, really good cards. Here's another sack outlet if you want it. Blood Artist for draining when you kill things. Braids, which is just really good removal. Skull Clamp can also be good for draw in the deck. Actually, Skull Clamp maybe should go in the deck. Jessica's Will because you're playing red. Same with Deflecting Swap. Same with Deadly Rollick. Yeah, there's so many really, really good cards. Bitter Blossom, you know. But I think the deck is very limited to playing your standard or modern rakdos scam cards. If you want to get rid of more removal to play more stuff to enable your commander, go for it. That could also work. But yeah, that's it. I took a few weeks off, kind of because I was sick, but also because it was the holidays. So yeah, I'll probably get back to recording weekly recording. I do have to kind of make more decks though, because I've run out of decks to cover that I've made. So yeah.